Hey, it's Jaime. Welcome to the channel and to a brand new season of Echo Interviews. We have a stellar lineup this season, and I can't wait to share all of the interviews with you. We're premiering with a stellar guest, Luna G. Luna started in real estate 2 years ago in a brand new city, heck, even a brand new country, and has made it work for her. She's growing her business using only social media and cold calling. In this interview, she shares how she got started in YouTube and in Instagram and has been able to grow a following so quickly. Let's begin. All right, welcome back everybody to Echo Interviews. We are on season 2. Super excited to have our next guest, Luna G. She is absolutely crushing it in real estate, in Instagram, in YouTube, any platform that you can think of. She's absolutely crushing it. So super excited to have her. Luna, thank you for being here and welcome.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We're going to jump right into it if that's okay, Luna. So, hey, tell us a little bit about yourself, the industry that you're in, and how you got started.
Sure. So, I was born and raised in China, and I came here for high school. I got my real estate license roughly 2017, at the end of 2017. So I moved to Philly right around when I got my license. So it was a brand new city, and I had no family, no friends that live in the city. And it's kind of strange to me because I don't know, like I wasn't grow up here. So at the time I was like, well, I need to figure something out. I really have to be independent in this business and I want to be successful. So imagine somebody who, graduated from college, never really had a real job. And the first a few months, it was definitely really, really tough. But I originally signed up with Keller Williams in Philadelphia, and then I was starting working as a rental agent, and I didn't really make a lot of money. I remember I was doing 13 rentals and I ended up only pocketing $5,000. And I didn't even have money to put gas in my car, and I couldn't even afford eye contact. That was like how bad it was. So I was like,
No.
yeah. So I was like, okay, well, I can't be a rental agent. I gotta do something different. So I switched to another company. I speak Mandarin. So I was like, okay, why don't I, put that as an advantage to work for maybe like a Chinese broker. Maybe that way he can teach me how to do sales, because I know Asian people in the culture, it's a lot easier for them to actually teach you to hold your hand. However, if you work with Americans, it's more independent. Even if you're on a team, you're still kind of on your own. So I signed up with my current company right now, and my broker has been, a great mentor. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I've closed 21 transactions my first year. I am right on track, and this year my goal is to make 100,000 income. So,
Awesome.
yep.
So brand new, introduced into Philly, really no sphere of influence to consider. You landed, you're brand new, and off you go.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, that's interesting. That's interesting. Did anybody in your family have a real estate background?
Both of my parents are still in China, so they are very entrepreneurial type of person. So they're super supportive. As far as real estate investing, it's totally different because in China, it's more about you buying a property and then you hold for several years and then you sell it for that appreciation. But in America, it's very different. So I would like to think that I was born and raised in a business family. So it's only in my blood that I was taught to hustle and work really hard for what I want. But specifically, I don't think that my parents has helped in a real estate investing in a way, because they're never in America.
Yeah. Okay. That's super cool. That's super cool. Well, right before we jumped on, we kind of spoke about how we even became aware of each other, and that's through YouTube. And
Right.
really that's where I want to focus the majority of the conversation. Also touch on some Instagram because you're super influential there as well, one of the largest accounts in regards to real estate. So on YouTube, I've been following your channel for a little bit over 6 months at this point, and it's been super interesting seeing your growth because you've absolutely blown up in that space and in YouTube with real estate. So can you talk to us? How did you get started with YouTube, and how has that been going?
Yeah, sure. So I think YouTube is definitely a great platform. I made one of my very first cold call videos, and at that point, I was being featured on Prep Agent's channel, where he was featuring me as a brand new agent. So we would do like a weekly interview. So when I did my first cold call video, it was me calling a for sale by owner. So I actually recorded myself, and I never would know that, the phone call would go the way I wanted to be. It was an easy call, no doubt. And then I just sent Joe the raw footage. So he put it on his channel. He has a larger platform. I think he has like 70,000 subscribers. And this video right now, it has over 100,000 views. That kind of gave me like a confidence boost. And also in my little channel, he gave me like original big shout out. So it was a lot easier for me to build my channel based off from that video. And once I had that video on, I just started to focus documenting my journey. I wasn't really thinking about, like become a YouTuber or anything like that. It was purely just for documenting purpose. And I wanted to make a channel that people can relate to me, not a channel where I already am a mega agent. I make a lot of money. I have tons of experiences. I don't want my channel to be like that. So that's why in day one, I just start posting, random stuff. I was telling people, what in my head, what I suggest them to do as a new agent. So at that point, a lot of stuff that I say, it can be very different than what I look at things now. But however, when I look back at my old videos, I can see how much I have grown, using that as a track tool for myself and then also for my audience. And I think that makes my channel unique and different in a way. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So it's almost like a video journal, if you will. So that's super interesting. Would you say that your audience is more real estate professional focused or more to the general public?
Well, I think my audience are definitely more new real estate agents where they are about to pass the real estate exams and they want to see what a day-to-day life is being as a realtor, what the struggles are, because I talk a lot about things that people don't talk about. I show them the hard work and, a lot of time there are struggles. And other than that, there's also a small portion, I believe it's like my past clients, or let's say I was on the phone with a prospect or for sale by owner. So what I do is I'll send them a business card and they're like, oh, this agent looks interesting. She has a YouTube channel. Let me check her out. So once they do that, they're like, oh yeah, she's real. She's legit. She became an agent 2 years ago and she knows what she's talking about. So a very small fraction of my video content, it is based on first time home buyers and, sellers. So like how to prepare your home to put on the market, or tips for sell by owners, stuff like that. So I'm trying to maintain my channel, based on new agents or just agents in general. And then a small portion will be buyers and sellers.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. So it's almost that verification from clients, because I mean, if somebody at this point types in your name and you don't show up in some platform, whether that's social media, whether that's YouTube, which I consider social media, but it may not be categorized in the social media world, but if you're not showing up, then there's a problem. So that's super interesting. Would you say that have you gotten just straight leads from there by chance, or is it more of
Yeah.
an affirmation?
Absolutely. So I have been getting referrals from agents all over the country.
Mm,
They, most time they will be like, hey, I watch your video and I have a client who's actually looking to move to Philly, or, he's looking to sell in Philly. I do offer 25% referral fee. And then other than from agents referral, I do get my clients. I believe it was like 3 months ago, I did this for sale by owner. I was one of the first agent that called her, and I sent her my business card and she looked me up on online on Google. So, like Google owns YouTube. So when you search
yep.
anybody's name on Google, my YouTube channel pops out, and she like, how real I am, how transparent I am. So when I go meet her, I didn't even expect it to be a listing signed appointment. I just kind of thought it as a preview, because a lot of for sale by owners are very unrealistic. They're not going to sign with you. So I didn't even bring the listing package. I just kind of went, take a look at the house and introduce myself. But as soon as I stepped in and she goes, Luna, can you please list our house? I'm like, what? Like, what just happened? And then when I talked to her, I realized that, she had looked me up, and she is out of state, and that's an investment property that she's selling. And she had back home, she has a realtor who happened to be Asian as well. And she's a great help, to them. And it's, my like the way I think both me and her is Asian kind of gives her like a way that the way I deal with things is just like the agent that she worked with back at home. So, those two things, it just is a trust issue. Like she trusted me, and everything just fell into place. It's super, it's a great transaction. So I do get business from YouTube. However, I don't rely on YouTube or social media for leads. Like everything that I get, it's icing on the cake, but I still day to day, I still prospect to get my own clients.
Awesome. Awesome. And what type of prospecting do you do?
Okay. So my day to day working schedule is very similar. What I do usually on Monday to Friday or Saturday in the morning is I would first call expires, new expires, and then I'll go with for sale by owners. And once I run through these, I will go with the follow-up. So the follow-up are the people that I'm calling in the farm. So I follow up with them. If I have previous conversation, I give them a call again. And then after that, it's probably going to take me anywhere from 30 minutes to 45 minutes. And then right after that, I'm just going to go straight into cold calling. Some people call it circle prospecting, but I just think of as a cold calling. However, I have a very selective area that I'm working with. I think for a lot of female agents out there, safety is definitely the number one thing that you need to be aware of. So I don't want myself to get listing that's too far away from my office or from my farm. So it will be anywhere that's like 15 to 20 minutes radius from where my office is. So I think of it as a farm. So I have certain zip codes that I'm focusing on, and I'll always call this list like every once a month or even like a couple weeks. I just go back at the list because most people don't pick up. Once they do pick up, they can become a contact. If they're not interested, I put them into not yet interested. Or if they're interested in selling in 1 to 3 years, they become my warm leads. So I have a very like a selective way of doing things now because I've been doing it for 2 years. So I know how to do it effectively, but it is hard work. Like I will stay on the phone average 1,000 calls a day, and I'll call like 6 to 5 hours on average.
Whoa. Well, how do you find time for the videos and the social media world?
I just cold call, and then and then I just edit like my videos on the side. Because if you're calling cold, you really don't have to think. You're just calling them, introduce who you are, and then you say, I was just calling to see if you're thinking about selling your house. And most of the time they're just gonna hang up or it's a no. Well, your problem really begins when they say yes. You have to drop everything you're doing, and then you go, oh, okay, well, so like, do you think about selling, this year, or do you think about like next year in the spring? Do you know where you're moving to? And then you just go ahead and start the pre-qualification questions to the seller. See if they can sell. See if they owe a lot of money to the bank. And do they know exactly where they're moving to? So there's a list of the things that you need to get out of the way. But most of the time, people say no, or they're just not interested.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, what's super interesting about you is that you're combining almost like two schools of thought, the whole social media world and then the cold calling.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm really glad
because
when people look at me on social media platform, they think that I am the type of person that's all about social media. Like I don't do any of like the hard work or old-fashioned cold calling. They're like, what? But I think the best way to grow your business is still on the phone. Like sales happens on the phone. However, social media is type of marketing. So I don't know if you watch Grant Cardone's channel and then Meet Kevin. I think Grant Cardone did a collaboration with the Wall of Wall Street, Jordan Belfort.
The Wolf of Wall Street. Yep.
Like that very like hilarious interview that like they've done.
It was a train wreck.
Oh yeah. So like, Jordan is a very good salesperson. I agree 100% of everything Jordan does. However, I'm not a huge fan of Grant. I don't want to say anything bad about him. It's just he's great at marketing, right?
Right.
So when I think about
Right.
myself, I don't want to be just like Grant. Like I don't want to just post bikini photos and just like, oh yeah, like $1 million listing and a great luxury car. Like I want to use that in a way. However, I also want to know how to do sales. Like I want people to know she's legit. That's why I'm trying to combine these two together. I don't want to just focus on one thing.
Yes.
I found it's the best way. It's the most effective way to do business nowadays, especially in real estate.
And that's awesome that you bring that up as well, because people seem to think you have to do one or the other. It's
Right.
you can have a healthy blend. And with you, full disclosure, that's what I felt that was, your primary source of leads, your business, or your focus and everything else. And so it's interesting that you're having such amazing traction in the YouTube world, and in Instagram, you're about what, 20,000, about 20,000 followers, which is
Mhm.
insane. People that are spending all of their time trying to grow that IG account don't
Mhm.
have that type of success. So I think there's a lot to be said about how you're documenting, how you come across, the whole authenticity where people seem to
Mhm.
be gravitating towards, which rightly so, that's super important. And so it's refreshing and pretty inspiring to see that you're having success in both worlds, because again, people can go a full career trying to build one up and not have the level of success that you've had. Huge kudos to you. And with YouTube, I want to expand on that a little bit more, because that's something that I've been on quite a bit over the past, I would say over the past year.
Mhm.
On YouTube, if people, real estate agents, are trying to get started in that world, what would you recommend? How should they get started?
Well, if they are starting as a new age, are you talking about starting as a new agent, or they're starting out as like they're just older
For
agents?
YouTube, if they're starting out as a new agent and wanting to make YouTube part of their diversified portfolio of marketing.
Yeah, well, I think if you are a new agent, you should definitely just, don't think too much, because nobody's first video is ever perfect. Use your iPhone, do what you gotta do, I see this agent, I can't remember his name. He's brand new. He did an open house. He just recorded himself. He's like, my first ever open house. I watched that video, and then he was just telling like people how he feels. It's his, first open house. And in a way, I feel his pain, because like nobody likes open house. It's empty, nobody comes in, but nobody makes a video out of it, right? So I think when people search, it's definitely a great way to see like the truth of actually being a real estate agent versus, Bravo show. Everything is so exciting, but that's not reality. And then
Right.
another way, a great tip for you guys if you're thinking about starting your channel, there's I believe there's a software called TubeBuddy. Is that what that
Okay.
is? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So you type in the topics. Usually start with like a topics, so that way people search, because YouTube is a search engine. So I've made videos like, is it hard to be a real estate agent? Because think of people who are searching and typing. It is the question that people will search, and TubeBuddy
Right.
will give you a score. So if it's like anything that's above 55%, that's a good topic. It's enough traction where it's not too competitive. So it just makes a good topic for you to make a video. It's worth to make a video. So that's kind of how I incorporate like nowadays when I think about topics and stuff. And then always, always write down what you are talking about. So make your video very organized, list bullet points, like, tell people like, hey, this video is going to have 4 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that way it's easier for people to follow you. Yeah. So
Okay, so you know the topic in advance that you're going to record based off of using the extension TubeBuddy. Is that what it is?
I would do research on it. And then sometimes, you know, I follow a bunch of YouTube videos like Jason J. Miles and, you know, all these people. And then what I do is I go to their most popular video and I see their
Hmm.
top, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a funny video. I can make a video and I can say something that's different. Because I think Chasen made a video on how I left Keller Williams. I think like after I made my video. And then when I go on his channel, I saw his video is funny too, because he was basically like said that why he left Keller Williams. It's a different reason than mine, but his video was like a story form. It was quite interesting. I said like the people that in the same office like ate his cake, the client gave it to him or something. It was funny. So, you know, like just start with something that's just real, you know, sit down and talk, and don't ever try to be somebody else that you're not. You know, just be
Yeah,
yourself. Yeah.
that's awesome. That's awesome. So you're going to the channels and identifying which, not all the time, but going to channels and seeing which ones have the most views, because it's
Mhm.
almost like a proven audience, it sounds like. So
Yeah.
that's a great strategy. That's a great way. I'm gonna have to pick that up, instead of trying to come up with a whole new strategy by myself or a whole new
Right.
topic. Well, there's a proven audience somewhere. So that's a great tip.
Mhm.
That's awesome. So what is your recording schedule? What does that look like? Are you trying to set a day that you're going to record, shoot the film, and is there a published schedule? Do you want to get one out every single week, every single month? What
Uh, I
what do you look like?
I usually do 2 to 3 videos a week
Oh
because
wow, okay.
I don't want to do like every day. I want people to wait for it. However, I don't want them to wait for too long. So I will typically, if I don't have any settlements, if I'm not too busy, I will do 3 videos. If I do have settlements, I'm really busy, I will do two. Yeah,
Got
I
it.
just want to get like videos out, even if I'm really busy, I'm stuck in traffic. I will just use my phone. Like if my car's, you know, obviously parked. Um, the most important thing is you are sending out a message or something that you want to let people know. The quality, it does matter in a way, but it's not everything. So, I mean, to have a consistent schedule is crucial to have a great channel. Think about if your channel is a restaurant, right? Like you can't have your restaurant closed randomly, like people are expecting it to be open. So definitely, you know, like give them, you know, don't just disappear for like a whole 3 months and then expect to come back with people open arms. Like that's not how that works.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm glad that you brought up kind of the when you have time, or not using the excuse of, well, I need to allocate all of this time to it. You mentioned being parked and filming a little bit, having some intent behind it. I think that sometimes we put some barriers on, well, I need the right camera, I need the right lighting, I need the right microphone, I need this, that, and the other, and then I'll start.
Hmm.
So it's awesome that you're able to kind of fit that into what your regular life is, because to be honest with you, 2 to 3 videos does sound a little bit daunting if you're just starting out. Like for example, this channel, um I do at least once a week, but I just came from September and busting one out every single day. But that was
Hmm.
just more of a personal goal, learning how to batch, how to get better with storytelling and having something of substance to share. So
Hmm.
that's probably not going to happen ever again, because it's brutal. But
Hmm.
allocating some time that you have to spare, even though you may be busy, is really all it takes. It's not all that more complicated. Just be a little bit intentional. So that's awesome. That's
Absolutely.
awesome. Well, let's switch gears for a second. Let's talk about Instagram. You have a huge following there. When did you get started with Instagram?
I've had Instagram since college, and before I become a real estate agent, my Instagram was focusing more on fitness because I want to be a fitness model. However, once I started, you know, doing real estate, it just became it's kind of hard for me to balance it because I don't want it to come off like too sexy in a way. People think it's unprofessional, but now when I look back at it, I just think it's just all in my head because if people are going to do business with you, they are still going to do business with you. If they're not going to do business with you, they already made up their mind. They're going to use every single excuse to say that they don't want you as their realtor. It has nothing to do with you. And as a, you know, like not like a fitness model, like that, to send it to people, a signal that you take care of yourself. You have, you know, a strong like self-discipline, you're have a healthy habits. And I think in a way, it kind of show people that what kind of person you are. So now I just don't really care what people think. I post whatever I want to post. I'll post things about boxing. I'll post, you know, like I do a lot of collaborations with local photographers in Philly. So we go to like rooftops and then we just shoot in different, you know, areas. I do a lot more last year where I have more time. This year, it becomes a lot hectic with my schedule. So I will do like a content batching where I just only use one photographer that I'm friends with, and then we go to different locations with different outfits. So that way I'll have enough photo to post later on. I don't post as frequent as before. I used to post like every day around like 2 p.m. However, now it's just more like 3 times a week or, you know, 2 times a week. But I always let people know what I'm up to with the story feature, because people don't really go to your wall. They are more interested in your daily life. So like, you know, people use Snapchat sometimes, but I don't have Snapchat, but I just use the story. So if I'm doing a collaboration, if I'm prospecting, if I'm in the gym, if I have a showing, listing, I just use the story to let people know what my day-to-day job is. So it's kind of passively let them know, oh yeah, she's a great agent. Like she's actively working, she's getting business every day. And for the people who are actually following me, they will look up to my schedule and they're like, okay, that's something I should be doing too. So that's kind of what I wanted. And I love how my Instagram turns out now. You know, I know the direction I want it to be. And I'm not like too desperate on growing my Instagram, because I know I have a healthy, you know, following. And the true following is you can turn them into relationships, turn them into transactions. I know Instagram nowadays, it's really easy to buy followers. People do all kinds of crazy things. So it's a lot different than YouTube. YouTube is still the most healthy platform, in my opinion. So I think YouTube definitely is more important to me than Instagram. Yeah, so that's kind of how I look at it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you're talking about the balance of, you know, where it originally started on the fitness world, now incorporating the real estate side. Do you have a cadence that you follow? Maybe something in the real estate world one day, then the next 3 posts are fitness or personal life. What's the cadence like?
I don't really follow like, I follow some fitness models. I watch their like workout routines, stuff like that. I try to limit the people that I follow, because in my opinion, I think sometimes it can be a distraction. Especially Instagram models, they are out shopping all the time. They have different bags. So like if I follow them, I pay attention to their daily life, I will be just worried like, oh, I need to get this bag, I need to get that bag. So for the same reason, I unsubscribed a lot of makeup artists, a lot of like haul, you know, the vloggers. I unsubscribed a lot of bloggers, because these people just wanted to spend money. So instead of that, I start following like, you know, Instagram. I follow Meet Kevin, I follow Graham Stephan, people that are in the business, people I look up to. And then on YouTube, I follow, you know, Valuetainment. I watch all sorts of different topics like entrepreneurship, sales, you know, fitness and healthy lifestyle, like travel. So and then I don't really try to make myself spend too much time on social media. So I'm limiting the time when I'm relaxing, when I'm, you know, not working, I will browsing it through, but it's not the priority in my life. Like, don't let social media to manipulate you. Cause I feel like nowadays it becomes a problem to a lot of younger people. So just use the social media as a tool for yourself as a marketing. So I don't really think of it as like something that's too important or part of my daily routine. It's not, if that makes any sense. Yeah.
No, it does. It does. It sounds like you're diversifying even your intake of information. And based off of that, or to a certain extent, whether consciously or subconsciously, it's kind of guiding you in your next steps when it comes to social media and maybe even the business world. I heard you mention Valuetainment with Patrick Bet David,
Yeah.
which he's out of here at Dallas. That's where I'm at, and he's somebody that I've followed for quite a bit as well. He's got a lot of.
The most is I love
What's
him
that?
talking politics. He made a video
He
about
breaks
Huawei,
it down.
which is the Chinese cell phone company.
Yeah.
He made a huge video about Huawei. I watched that video 3 times. And I'm from China. I'm pretty interested in the topic that he talks about it. He also talked about like universal UBI, basic income. He made a video too. He's a very good storyteller, and
Very much so.
Does a great job on researching. So I think his video should really charge people money, because it was like great information. He just shared it out there for free. Yeah, I recommend you guys to, you know, listen to his podcast too.
He's awesome. The one that he did about Iran here about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It caught me up in the entire Iran thing. Now I know what's going on, or know what's going on. Yeah.
He was born and raised in Iran, and he came here as a fugitive. Yeah, it was like
not a fugitive, but a refugee.
Oh, sorry, that was the word.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a very, very interesting background. Absolutely.
Super interesting. You should check out Ed Milet as well if you haven't followed him. Ed Milet. He's the CEO. I believe he's the CEO of World Financial Group, which is a very similar industry that Patrick Bet David is. But Ed Milet, phenomenal. A lot of the channels, I'm not gonna say the same, but very similar to Valuetainment. So that's one that I would recommend that you check out.
Okay.
But well, again, thank you so much for being with us today. Now, before I let you go, I want to ask you my favorite question. And this channel is an action-based channel. We talk about strategy. We talk, you know, in the clouds quite a bit, but really it's about taking action, which is something you clearly have done in many different platforms and in your business. So if you had to start all over again today in your business, which is real estate, if you had to start all over again today, what do your next 7 days look like?
If I had to start my business again, what my next 7 days looks like?
What steps are you taking in the next 7 days to?
Okay.
Now that you know what you know.
I think the way to answer is, when I first started selling, I was doing rentals, right? So my next 7 days, if I'm a new agent, I don't know anything, I'll probably be showing rental units. However, if I know what I know right now, I'll spend time on the phone. I'll spend time on the phone, and I would go straight to prospect with sellers, you know, network with sellers, and cold call expires and for sale by owners, get some right now business, and, you know, just cold call my farm to get the future business. And basically what I do right now. So that's what I would do.
Sounds like a great roadmap to me. Luna, thank you so much for joining us, and everybody else, thank you so much for giving Echo Interviews another shot. Season 2 is underway, and we're gonna have amazing guests just like Luna. So be on the lookout.